going to close out this week's devotionals with Jeremiah 25 through 27. To exile, you will go. It was through Jeremiah God let the people know the time of exile would be 70 years. There's actually some discussion about what the 70 years actually refers to exactly. For example, there's two periods of 70 years that could fit. There are 70 years from when the first exiles were taken by Babylon to when the first wave of exiles returned from Babylon. There's also 70 years from the destruction of the temple to its rebuilding. Basically, either way, still 70 years, but God was going to punish the nation of Judah because of their rebellion against covenant. Again, this is just a general theme of the prophets, including Jeremiah. Now, it may be hard to read the description of God's anger and wrath against his covenant people in these chapters. It's good for us, though, to remember, because we're the covenant people of God today. We could place ourselves in a position where we are so far apart from God's covenant purposes, we deserve to come under judgment. Jeremiah in chapter 26 is again threatened, not with death right now, but beating and imprisonment. With death now, not just beating and imprisonment. The irony is he's viewed as disloyal. You're speaking against the kingdom. You're speaking against the king. You're saying surrender to Babylon. You're saying Babylon's going to be victorious. Well, I thought you were a prophet. I thought Yahweh is supposed to be the one you champion. All those kind of things could be thrown at him. The reality, he was the loyal one. Jeremiah was loyal because God himself was placing Judah into exile, where they were going to learn to be loyal to Nebuchadnezzar and to Babylon as kind of almost like a testing ground to get them to learn how to be loyal to Yahweh. And this is a crazy reversal. It's unexpected. I mean, Babylon is kind of tied to the Tower of Babel, that site of great rebellion against God. And now God's people are going to learn loyalty in the place where rebellion not was born. That was kind of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, but we're kind of as a civilization, there was like as a culture just rebelled against God. That's where God's people were going to learn loyalty. Restoration to the nation would come through surrender to Babylon, because that's what God was wanting, not through resisting this pagan ruler. One thing I just want to throw to the side here that I hear sometimes within the church today. It's just a bit of teaching. I get where it comes from, but it's wrong, and it's not helpful for us to understand more of what the Old Testament can say to us. Most of us, I think, know this, but again, just want to make sure we need to be careful not to conflate our nation today, Canada or the United States or Nigeria, just to speak of three nations I have some different connection to. Don't take the nation or any nation today, even the nation of Israel today, as being the covenant people of God today. Back in the Old Testament, the covenant through Moses, the 12 tribes were the covenant people of God. When Jesus came, he brought, as we'll see in a few chapters, a new covenant. The New Testament, it's a new people where Jew and Gentiles are grafted in, making a new nation. And not all Israel, not all of those who were ethnically descendants of Abraham were covenant faithful people, or that God considered part of the covenant because of how they behaved and lived, their allegiances. The covenant people of God today are followers of Jesus, of any tribe and nation. And that's the covenant people under the New Testament, which has made the Old Testament, Old Covenant, obsolete. We'll actually talk a little bit about that in a couple devotionals when we get to Jeremiah 30 and 31. For us today, I'll just boil it down to something simple. Remember to be loyal, because we live in our own version of Babylon. we live in our own place where there's systems and ways that just don't look to promote allegiance to Jesus, but to something else. And so how is God calling you today to be loyal to Jesus in your workplace, in your community, in your politics, in whatever other aspect of life you can think of? May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious to you. And in these days, may we know his peace. God bless.